by the time I got to high school, I was really indoctrinated into a gang, and I felt that's what it took to get respect in this country, in Stockton specifically. My name's José Gomez, and I work for the Office of Violence Prevention. I've been here for 25 years, giving hope and opportunity to those who are in gangs. And that's been my passion since I started working in the system. Actually, prior to Office of Violence Prevention, I worked with the Juvenile Probation Department for about 7 years in the gang unit. But before that, I was in the gang for the majority of my teenage years, since the age of 12. And prior to that, I was actually born in Mexico. And there, school education was very important. My older sisters and brothers were my role models, so I followed their footsteps until I came to this country, and I realized that the peers that I looked up to, education was not important. It seemed like the more people got in trouble, the more rebellious they were in gangs, and I didn't know what a gang was at the time. So I just knew that in order to get respect from my peers, I had to be wild and disrespectful to authority. Being a schoolboy, getting straight A's was not respected by my peers. And this is in the 4th grade. So I was 10 years old when I call it the perfect storm, because I didn't speak English. My self-esteem was very low. And then I was bullied by, again, peers that I wanted to be part of and I wanted to be accepted by. So what I did is I went from straight A's to straight F's on purpose, just to belong, just to get that respect. And I began to be rebellious and getting into fights because I was tired of being bullied from being from another country. So by the time I got to high school, I was really indoctrinated into a gang, and I felt that's what it took to get respect in this country, in Stockton specifically. I was in one of the worst areas in the south side of Stockton. That's where I grew up. So I spent about 10 years in the gang. Even after I graduated from high school with honors, it's a long story, how there were mentors in my life, a high school teacher and a gang detective who really saw potential in me and encouraged me and motivated me to graduate from high school. Then after that, they also encouraged me and motivated me to go into the military. So I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. And that was really what I believe was the beginning of my life changing, having a different experience outside of my environment, which led me to want to come back home after the Persian Gulf and give my passion and my energy and everything to help people like me that were confused, kids that were in gangs and adults too, just to give them that hope that I also received, to avoid going to prison, to avoid being dead, being killed, and to avoid just unnecessary bloodshed. One of the things that I regret the most, looking back, is how I dishonor my father and mother. I caused them a lot of grief, a lot of pain, a lot of tears. And at the time, of course, my gang, my friends were my family. I thought that my immediate family wasn't important anymore. Just like at the beginning, education was not important anymore. You know, I was ashamed from being from Mexico. I was ashamed of not speaking the language here in the United States. So I conformed to the subculture of the gangs. And again, it took certain individuals that knew the system, that knew what the consequences were. I did suffer some consequences of going to juvenile hall and for drive-by shootings and so forth, but I was able to, through the help of mentors, to avoid going to prison like some of my friends, which was inevitable. Being in gangs, usually that's the outcome. I do what I do with the Office of Violence Prevention. I've been here for 25 years, like I said, because I love to give hope to people, because I'm out of gratitude for the hope that I was given and seeing the success. And my mom and dad were able to see the change in my life, and my younger brother. It was like a domino effect. So I know that regardless of how brainwashed and indoctrinated people are into the gangs, they can change, and there's hope.